The trial of Sean Diddy Commons has taken a dramatic turn, marked by delays, witness disappearances, and explosive legal maneuvers that have sent shockwaves through the courtroom, as prosecutors scramble to finalize jury selection and prepare for opening arguments. Diddy's defense team has launched a series of aggressive counterattacks aimed at discrediting key witnesses and shifting blame onto his accusers. One of the most startling developments in this case involves Diddy's decision to sue his former bodyguard, Gene Deal, for exposing incriminating footage related to the infamous FreakOFF parties, extravagant drug-fueled events allegedly orchestrated by Diddy under coercive circumstances. Gene Deal, once a trusted member of Diddy's inner circle, has become one of the most vocal whistleblowers in the case. Unlike many others who were bound by non-disclosure agreements (NDAs), Deal was never required to sign such a document, allowing him to speak freely about the disturbing practices he witnessed firsthand. In interviews and sworn testimonies, Deal has described how Diddy hosted wild gatherings where drinks were spiked without consent, leading to blackouts, unconsciousness, and even fatalities. He recounted harrowing moments when he had to intervene to prevent further harm, including discovering his own girlfriend passed out in a car after consuming drugged champagne at one of these parties. Deal's revelations have painted a chilling picture of a man who allegedly abused his power, manipulated those around him, and created an environment where consent was disregarded and lives were lost. Despite the gravity of Deal's claims, Diddy's legal team has not hesitated to retaliate. Reports indicate that Diddy has initiated legal action against Deal, accusing him of leaking private information and damaging his reputation. This lawsuit appears to be part of a broader strategy to intimidate potential witnesses and dissuade others from coming forward. The timing of the suit is particularly telling. It comes amid growing pressure on Diddy as the prosecution prepares to present its case, including testimony from Cassie Ventura, Diddy's ex-girlfriend, and one of his most high-profile accusers. Cassie, whose 2023 sexual abuse lawsuit against Diddy was mysteriously settled within 24 hours of being filed, is expected to provide damning testimony about her experiences during their relationship, including allegations of physical violence captured on video. The court proceedings have already been plagued by complications. Prosecutors recently revealed that one of their key witnesses, known only as victim number 3, has gone missing and cannot be contacted. While the exact reasons behind her disappearance remain unclear, speculation abounds that she may have been pressured or threatened into silence. This follows a pattern of alleged witness tampering attributed to Diddy, who has reportedly made hundreds of calls from prison attempting to influence testimony. Phone records from the Metropolitan Detention Center show Diddy contacting family members and associates with instructions to reach out to victims and witnesses, often pressuring them to recant their statements or withdraw from the case entirely. These actions have raised serious concerns among federal authorities and have prompted discussions about whether additional protections are needed for those testifying against Diddy. Adding to the chaos, several jurors have expressed hesitation about participating in the trial. One potential juror sent an email to the judge requesting removal from the panel due to fears for their personal well-being. Another was dismissed after failing to disclose a pending lawsuit against the city of New York. With tensions running high and the stakes incredibly high, the judge has decided to delay the final phase of jury selection until Monday, bringing back 43 prospective jurors in hopes of assembling a full panel capable of delivering a fair verdict. The fear of intimidation tactics and undue influence looms large, with attorneys on both sides aware that any misstep could compromise the integrity of the trial. Diddy's legal team, meanwhile, continues to mount a fierce defense, employing a variety of strategies to challenge the prosecution's narrative. One of the more controversial moves involves attempting to shift the focus of the trial onto Cassie Ventura herself. Diddy's lawyers have signaled their intent to argue that while domestic violence did occur in their relationship, it was not one-sided. They claim that Cassie was also violent toward Diddy, and that any physical altercations were mutual. This defense hinges on the presentation of 2 cell phone videos and the full unedited version of the infamous tape showing Diddy assaulting Cassie at the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles. Diddy's attorneys have long claimed that the publicly released footage was doctored and incomplete, and they now intend to introduce what they describe as the full context of the incident. In addition to disputing the nature of the abuse, Diddy's defense has also attempted to argue that his actions should not be held against him due to diminished mental capacity caused by years of substance abuse. His lawyers have retained a medical expert who will testify about the effects of drugs and alcohol on Diddy's cognitive function, suggesting that he may not have fully understood the consequences of his behavior at the time. Prosecutors have strongly opposed this line of defense, filing motions to block testimony that they argue lacks sufficient scientific backing and amounts to little more than an attempt to evade responsibility. Meanwhile, Diddy's legal troubles continue to mount beyond the courtroom. High-profile law firms that once represented him have distanced themselves from the case, citing ethical concerns and the overwhelming evidence against him. Grubman, Shire, Meisels and Sachs, one of the most powerful entertainment law firms in the country, reportedly dropped Diddy following threats from singer Lady Gaga, who allegedly demanded that the firm sever ties with him or risk losing her as a client. The departure of Anthony Rico, one of Diddy's lead attorneys, further signals the growing reluctance of legal professionals to associate with a defendant whose guilt appears increasingly difficult to dispute. As the trial inches closer, the public remains captivated by the unfolding drama. Celebrities named in connection with Diddy, including Michael B. Jordan, Mike Myers, Kanye West, and Robert Downey Jr., have yet to be implicated in any wrongdoing, but their mere mention in court documents has fueled speculation about the extent of Diddy's influence and the hidden truths that may still come to light. With every passing day, the web of secrecy surrounding Diddy's alleged crimes grows more complex, raising urgent questions about accountability, justice, and the culture of silence that has allowed such abuses to persist unchecked. At the heart of it all is the issue of witness protection. Several individuals involved in the case have expressed fears about retaliation, prompting discussions about whether federal safeguards should be extended to those testifying against Diddy. The prosecution acknowledges the risks, but remains committed to pursuing justice, even as obstacles continue to pile up. For survivors like Cassie Ventura and Gene Deal, the trial represents not just a legal battle but a deeply personal reckoning, one that could determine whether Diddy finally faces consequences for decades of alleged misconduct. As the world watches, the trial of Sean Diddy Commane stands as a stark reminder of the power dynamics at play in cases involving celebrities accused of serious crimes. It is a story of courage, corruption, and the relentless pursuit of truth in the face of immense pressure. Whether Diddy will ultimately be held accountable remains uncertain, but one thing is clear: the fallout from this case will reverberate far beyond the courtroom, reshaping conversations about justice, celebrity culture, and the systemic failures that allow predators to operate unchecked for years. The mounting legal challenges facing Diddy have only intensified as his trial looms, with prosecutors painting a picture of a man who allegedly went to extreme lengths to silence those who threatened to expose his secrets. Court documents and recent testimony reveal a pattern of behavior in which Diddy allegedly used intermediaries to reach out to witnesses, often pressuring them to recant their statements or withdraw from the case entirely. These tactics reportedly included financial incentives, intimidation, and leveraging personal relationships to manipulate potential testimonies. The fact that Diddy has allegedly made hundreds of calls from prison, many of which were monitored and recorded, has provided federal investigators with damning evidence of his alleged interference. This has not only raised serious legal concerns but also prompted discussions about whether additional protective measures should be extended to victims and witnesses involved in the case. Meanwhile, the credibility of Diddy's defense team continues to erode as key legal figures distance themselves from the case. High-profile entertainment law firm Grubman, Shearer, Meisels and Sachs reportedly cut ties with Diddy under pressure from one of its major clients, Lady Gaga, signaling a growing unwillingness among elite legal professionals to associate with him. His remaining attorneys are now grasping at increasingly implausible strategies, including attempts to discredit Cassie Ventura by suggesting mutual domestic violence, and arguing that Diddy's mental state due to drug use negates his culpability. Prosecutors, however, remain steadfast in their pursuit of justice, bolstered by a growing body of evidence, including surveillance footage, audio recordings, and sworn testimonies that paints a consistent and troubling narrative. As the trial inches closer, it becomes ever more apparent that this is not just a legal battle, but a reckoning that could redefine how society holds powerful figures accountable for decades of alleged misconduct.